are very, very passionate about how to use small, particularly in person, live events to grow your business. I want to welcome our guests. If you're joining us live, we'd love to make this as participatory as possible. This really is about you and making the biggest difference for you along your mission and the difference that you're here to make and the money that you're here to make. So, as you have questions, you can put them in the chat. You also have time to take yourself off mute and come on camera and share as well. So a question we always like to bring up is who believes in the power of live in-person events? There's been this big movement towards Zoom, obviously, during COVID. And now that it's 2024, obviously live in-person events have come back. So what does that mean in terms of the culture of live in-person events? Before COVID, there was this tendency towards thinking of hotel ballrooms as being the place where live in-person events happened. And then things went on Zoom during COVID. So now at this point, what we've seen the trend is that people really want experiences to create really cool, exciting experiences. And that really comes from you as the event organizer digging deep into what excites you. What kind of event would you most want to attend? When you look at different events that are out there, what do you see as missing? That if you were to put on an event, you would have these things in place. So bringing that critical eye towards events and deciding that people deserve more for their time and their energy. That's how it can really grow your business. Something that always comes up for people is that they are some people overwhelmed or scared or worried about putting on live events. And we really want to tear that down because this is a limiting belief, just like how someone could say that sales is hard. The more you hang on to that belief, the worse your sales are going to be. And sales is as essential for your business as oxygen is for life. Therefore, what else is possible with events? If you were to take on the belief that doing events, while challenging, just like anything in business, is immensely gratifying and a wonderful thing to do for your business and is part of your mission. And that's something that we'll be coming back to again and again is your mission for serving humanity. I don't believe in doing anything, even from a marketing approach, just to make more money or get more clients. This is really, if it's mission aligned with each message I put out there, is it really on point with why I'm here on this earth? That's a standard that you could set for yourself that will actually help you stand out a lot more from others who are just more, you might say, chasing paper. So before I share about us and our journey and how we got to this, just to set the stage a little bit more, we can look at two different paths a person can take in life. So you can imagine different sliding door scenarios, like what if you had married this person instead of this person, or gone to this career path or another. And one of the scenarios that is always worth highlighting is employee versus entrepreneur. And I can say for myself, having been an employee before, that if I had stuck to that employee mindset and decided that that's all I'll ever be in life, I just want to work for someone else, that would have been one type of life that frankly would have been limiting compared to being an entrepreneur. Whereas being an entrepreneur, the boundless qualities that go along with that in terms of wealth, in terms of people you get to meet, experiences you get to have, truly it's limitless when you are an entrepreneur. And the same principle holds with attending events versus hosting events. The person who attends an event will have, just like the employee, excuse me, a limited experience of life. Now, this might sound like it's harsh or judgmental. It's not meant to be at all. This is just fact that if you only, in your experience of events, only attend, then you'll never know the limitless wealth, the connections that you can make, all the experiences that you'll get to have, the opportunities that will be available to you when you instead become an event host. So in this regard, it truly is like going from your everyday, regular, average person to a superhero. It is that type of difference. Us event hosts, we do have a secret handshake among us. We're veterans of the same war. So those of us who do the multi-day in-person events, which is not necessarily something that you might be doing, or at least certainly not right now, yet we know that what it takes to put these things on. And there's a sense of camaraderie. And as we look to the multi-day event space and just events in general, let's just really get that business leaders do host in-person events, whether it's Tony Robbins or Abraham Hicks. At the level of transformational leader, if you're here to make a difference, of bringing people together in person is part of the deal. We can also look to the dinner party as another example where you look in this photo, there's only about 5 people who are watching this presenter. Yet that presenter has the ability to generate a lot more business than any of those other 5 people. It's a stage effect. They have all the eyes on her. So yes, is it worth her paying for dinner to bring these 5 people together? Because one client for her might be worth, say, $10,000. And certainly the LTV, lifetime value, could be worth considerably more than that. Yes, absolutely, it's worth the cost of one dinner. Another example would be the retreat. You see here as an immersive experience. Retreats are increasingly big business for some of the reasons I outlined earlier, that people want to get out of hotel ballrooms. Like if they're going to be going to an in-person event, it's got to be something more dynamic than a hotel ballroom, which can be too closely emulated through a Zoom event, a more like person talking at you from an elevated platform. It's more about the experiential aspect, which a retreat certainly provides. And this is something that we'll dig into a little further in terms of just how powerful retreats can be and what people do in this space that doesn't work, which is too oftentimes the case that it doesn't work, versus what they could be doing that would serve them a lot better and make a much bigger difference in people's lives and make a lot more money. Now, I came to the event space from about as far away from it as you possibly can. So that's me in the middle, and I'm 17 in this photo. And prior to that, I got teased a lot for how I looked. My mother's Chinese from Hong Kong. My father's white, Jewish. So I looked differently from other kids, and I didn't fit in with the Chinese kids, even though I can speak a little Cantonese. I didn't fit in as one of the Chinese kids. On the Jewish side, I didn't fit in either because, as I was regularly told, you're not really Jewish because your mother's not Jewish. So even though I would go to Sunday school and temple, I didn't really fit in there, and I certainly looked different from those kids. And as I was looking to fit in age 12, I didn't have friends I could get along with. Another reason was that I was in my head a lot. I was a shy kid. I thought about things on a deeper level than most. So people thought I was weird whenever I spoke. So I was very much an outsider. I did have a breakthrough around age 17 where I did manage to make 2 friends. And one of those friends there on the left side, Bobak, was having his 18th birthday. And I had the pretty good luck of having a decent sized house and parents who traveled a lot for work. So we decided to host a birthday party. And it always really bothered me how in high school we had cliques where you would have the popular kids, and then you have the academics, and then you'd have the theater kids and the jocks and the stoners hanging out by the tennis court. It was like we were in prison with how people were so segmented into their respective groups. And we decided to invite all 500 students from our grade to our house, to the house that I lived with my parents. Now, because of where we were in the social status of things, not all 500 came. However, 80 or so did come. And what was cool is that there were people having conversations with each other for the very first time in the entire 4 years of high school. And come Monday, some of those people were having lunch with each other for the very first time. And that's when I decided that for me, there was no higher calling than this, that the quality of our life is the quality of our relationships. Certainly, once our basic health is taken care of, the quality of our lives is the quality of our relationships. And there is no higher calling to really change lives and to create these relationships through live events. So I decided I was going to make a career out of this, and that eventually led to what we do today. This was taken just a few months ago, and this photo represents about $275,000 in income. So we had, we see about 25 people here. And that was the abundance retreat that we hosted. And I just want to highlight how this is a lot of fun and extremely fulfilling for both me and Monsi. And that's what we want for you as well. And we'll spend the remainder of our time digging into how exactly this works and what it would look like for you to be doing your own live in-person events. So I want to check in with Sherry, Melanie. If you have any questions, comments, I just want to check in. Hi, Melanie. Nice to see you. Just love to check in about where you are with live in-person events. Have you hosted them before? Is it something that you're interested in doing?
I have a horse ranch, and I'm just putting up hay in the barn today, so excuse the looks. Um, but I just met with two of my guests that are here at the ranch. I have Airbnb, and I give horse experiences to small groups like that. And I've been doing it for 2 years with the 5-star experiences, really great reviews. And so my heart is to expand that, to bring my coaching clients here for a VIP experience. I am new to the coaching space, but I've been connecting with some people to collaborate to do a retreat here in
Mm,
Texas.
in Texas.
Mm,
Fantastic. We're going to be in Austin in 2 weeks.
wonderful. It's not too far down the road. I'm up in North Texas, so north of Dallas.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And then I'm actually going to see my friend in Fort Worth right
Oh,
afterwards.
oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we definitely love Texas and just the no nonsense attitude. It's very refreshing from some of the Californians that we deal with.
I I used to live in California, but I love the area.
Yeah, and there's other things we love about being in California, for sure. Well, that sounds really on point. The unique experience that you would be able to create, that's very much you. Obviously, it's not a stuffy hotel ballroom.
Mhm.
You'd be able to really present a unique, memorable experience. And as we dig into this further and like the model of it, we can right away say that one of the things that we find really criminal, and I'm using a strong word deliberately, is that people will be cracked open oftentimes by a retreat and feel like, wow, I've never felt this seen or safe or so connected to other people in my entire life. And then the retreat leader oftentimes tragically says, well, I'm so happy to hear that. And I don't have another retreat on the calendar. And good luck with your life. I'll let you know when the next one is. And hopefully you can join us for that one. And that's the go to. And one thing that Monsi and I are very much standing for are more tribes on the planet. So, in addressing some of the biggest problems facing humanity, whether it's at the level of like government and corporations and mass media and some of the education system, and how it's been used to frankly divide humanity oftentimes, that the solution for this is having more tribes on the planet, like your soul family that you see again and again, just like your blood family. You wouldn't just see them one time and it's like, oh, maybe we'll see each other again in life or not, right? You know that you're going to see each other again and again. And this is what the human spirit is calling for, is having a soul family, a tribe that you can come back to again and again. The retreat is a kickoff for your soul family. It's the first time coming together. And then to make it clear that we're going to come together again and again. And rather than even saying, well, we got one more retreat on the calendar, why not say that this is an annual membership that includes the retreats and these other experiences within it. And then you price it accordingly. And then this also solves one of the biggest problems entrepreneurs face, if not the biggest, which is predictable, consistent cash flow. You have a year-long membership, and then you have people on the payment plan of say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, even $5,000 per month. They could be paying to be in your tribe. This is what we do for our clients, is help them create this and shatter any limiting beliefs of like, oh no, I can't charge that much, or who would buy that, right? That's all just monkey mind that can take people out. So instead, just really standing for these tribes in the world. I see Dr. Monsi is on camera. So, honey, you want to add anything, or maybe share a little about yourself too, but on this topic, certainly. You want to add anything?
Well, what I have realized is that putting on retreats and giving people the experience that they've never had has been my highest calling. And it truly brought out my leadership skills and also made me feel like Wonder Woman, right? Like I felt like, wow, this is what I was missing in my fulfillment when it came to the purpose and the living that I wanted. In your case, Melanie, you know, horses are so healing and people are looking for retreats with horses. And of course, like there's other parts to it that you can add and enhance. So like yeah, even the fact that you could have a tribe that could come back and it just feels like wow, they have that opportunity and option available. What could that do for humanity? Because every single person, even if you had a small group of 7 to 8 people, every single person has a ripple effect because now they're healing their families, they're healing the world outside because every family member has their own ties and cords in the world. So just when you look at the magnitude of what small groups can do, also we have a whole methodology of how to design your retreat, how to make a whole curate the community, and how to make a whole year worth of tribe that people want to keep coming back to. That's what we specialize in.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I do believe strongly about the healing power. I gave a TEDx talk called Horsepower Healing Through Grief and Beyond. Uh, and in TEDx, you're not allowed to speak of God, but that's faith is a big part of my relationship and healing. And so I want to, offer that to, I've lost an infant daughter, teenage son, my husband, and I also want to help people heal through that, overcome loss of a lot of different kinds. And to do that in person, especially with horses, is really impactful.
Yeah, I come from a horse background too. Like I used to ride and show hunters jumpers. And then my dad was really into horse racing. So back when he was alive, we spent the whole summers at Del Mar and Santa Anita, Hollywood Park here in Southern California. Certainly yours is a clear example of it has to be in person, which is definitely a standard to host have for a retreat. So one of the more BS phrases that exists in the culture is virtual retreat, which I find so eye rolling because what do you think you're retreating from to begin with? It's the virtual world. So
Well,
you're
I feel like the day virtual sex will be as good as virtual retreats. That's when we can justify having virtual retreats, and that's gonna be never, right? It's like, how could you really? It's like saying, "Oh, I ate a month ago, and now I don't need to eat," or like it's like really disrespectful to being a human and human needs and not honoring who we are.
Mhm.
I love it. And I hate to say that I've never been on a retreat, and so I need to learn from the best people on how to host a good retreat and all the things that go into it. I often say I went from chaos to, which is can't have anyone over syndrome, to being a 5-star, host. And so it's been a transition for me, definitely, to learn how to host, and I need to learn from the best. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you do.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, well, we'll definitely share with you about joining us in November for the Abundance Retreat. A lot of people come for this very reason, is because they want to see exactly how it's done, and then they get that and so much more all together. By the way, I haven't heard that one. Can't have anyone over syndrome. Chaos. That's really great. I've hosted lots of events. I haven't heard anyone say that one before. All right, let's keep it moving. So one of the quotes that we like is from marketing guru Seth Godin. He says that tribes make our lives better, and leading a tribe is the best life of all. And Monty and I can certainly attest to that. That deep sense of belonging that is so core to who we are. It's really linked to a survival impulse, and we use the word tribes with the utmost reverence. That it's getting back to the native cultures where from all over the world there's tribes gathering in person. And one reason why life is more stressful, why people are just over broke, just over sick, why depression, anxiety, mental health issues are what they are is because there is no sense of tribe connection. People are not part of tribes. For a lot of people, they'll join a gang so they can feel like a part of a tribe. And that has a certain path that can go along with that. Or they'll say that, oh, well, my tribe is my Pittsburgh Steelers fans that I watch every Sunday with. Yet there's something missing in these cases in terms of the activation of wealth, health, and spirituality, which is something that we really stand by is the reasons you would join a tribe is to activate at least one of those and preferably all three. The wealth, health, spirituality. That in being in a tribe, that this is something that you can dig into, say, across the year. And frankly, these are all mountains with no top. So as tribe leader, you get to have people come back year after year after year. Again, like a soul family, you wouldn't just be done with them after 1 year. You would continue to grow and come back year after year. And this is why our training is called Abundant Tribe Leader, because this is truly an abundant life when you have members come back year after year and they will happily bring on new people. So our intentions for today is examine how events can dramatically grow your business and to connect and serve some of you individually afterwards. So we'll be digging into the types of events you can host. And I love that, Melanie, you're already on the retreat game because that is our favorite and the most lucrative. And for some of you, maybe a 2-hour event would be the place to start. And then we'll discuss how we can connect with you after today because we mentioned the word criminal earlier, to have a retreat that cracks people open and then not give them a pathway forward at all. We believe the same thing is true here with this topic, and that's having this conversation with you. That if something does spark for you, that you see a pathway forward, then we have a responsibility as leaders to create a pathway forward for you. So we'll be sharing with you what that looks like. Now, how events dramatically grow your business from 2-hour to 3-day events? There's 6 basic steps here that are involved. First is that you must choose a date and book a venue. So this is the first level of commitment, is decide when.
John, what are you sharing? I'm not sure what's happening because we can only see
Oh, geez.
the
Sorry, I saw you. Please go. I said my screen share is paused. I apologize for that. Why is it paused? Because I can see it. You can see this now.
Mhm.
Okay.
We can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
By the
were
way-
on you were on the Seth Godin screen last.
Okay, so you did see that. And yeah, Monse, just don't use the chat. If you see something like that, just speak up. It's hard for me. If I see the slide and I can't see the chat and I have to take down my screen. So I apologize for not getting your messages. So you saw this earlier then about tribes. Melanie, you said you said you saw this. So then as we moved into our intentions for today, how events can dramatically grow your business and then connect and serve some of you individually afterwards. That's really what we're up to for our time today. Now, moving on to how events dramatically grow your business, whether it's a 2-hour event or a 3-day event. So we mentioned a 2-hour event could be something like a hosted dinner that you do for folks. Definitely, the more you're willing to give upfront and invest in the relationship with your guests, then there's a law of reciprocity where it comes back to you. So it is a case of like you go to the gym, you lift the weights, you get the results. Well, it's the same thing with any relationship. You are willing to invest the energy, in this case, booking the date or booking the venue and then having a nice dinner or something like that, then it will come back around to you. One of the limiting beliefs people have is that they just they're allergic to spending money, basically. And it can really be an abundance blocker for themselves. Money's meant to be circulated. So just have a clear business model for how you can win at this. So now moving on to these 6 steps. The first step, whether it is a 2-hour or a 3-day event, is to choose the date and book a venue. So this is the basic level of commitment, when and where is it going to be? So many people don't get out of the starting gate with this. They overthink. They're vague about it. They say, oh, well, it's going to be fall of this year or spring of 2025. And I might do it in Bali, or I might do it in fill in the blank. We do recommend that there's a distinction that we use of thinking like an artist versus an entrepreneur. So an artist would say, and I come from an artist background myself, and I've worked with lots of artists back when I was putting on music festivals. An artist will say, I want to create this album. So I'm going to write the songs and create this album. I want to paint on that canvas. I want to host a retreat in Bali or Costa Rica, Antarctica, Greece. And hopefully people will pay for this, right? That's the artist mindset. And if you are making this your business, as in this is a source of income that will support your lifestyle, like you want to treat it like a real business, that just for sustainability standpoint, then we have to think like an entrepreneur, not like an artist. We can't just say, well, I'm going to do this thing because I feel like it and I've always wanted to go, and hopefully people sign up. Big mistake retreat leaders make. Instead, as an entrepreneur, you go to where you have warm market, where you're strongest, where people are most likely to buy what you have to offer. So that means starting local. And while we don't like the idea of a retreat, I mean, a retreat's not even a retreat if it's in a hotel. So I think we're pretty clear on that. Yet it be somewhere like Melanie, if you have a ranch, that'd be a great place for a retreat. And then you're already networked into that community and you can bring people over to you. We love mansions in nature. So we'll sometimes use our own house, which is in nature. We'll have other venues like our friends that we'll use. So we have this full on immersive mansions in nature experience. The next step is to
have a client who has a horse ranch, Alessandra.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, she does her retreats over there. And
yeah, in Rancho Santa Fe. She does, yeah.
In Rancho Santa Fe,
yeah. So the next step would be to fill the room. So if it's a 2-hour event, then having people commit to this. And one thing that we always, if it's a 3-day event as well, right? And one thing we encourage is that for something like a 2-hour event, pick up the phone and call people and actually have that high touch conversation with them, tell them what the event is about, what they can gain from it, how you'd love to have them as your guest. And then after they say yes, ask them, are there 1, 2, or 3 people you could think of who would also be a fit for this? And then either they're going to call them and personally invite them, or they can do a text intro, and then you can share with them and develop your own relationship with them. See, most people nowadays, especially, too much time on our devices, are afraid to do this high touch thing, and they'll think it's awkward and so forth. And what we're really standing for is deeper connection on the planet. And this is actually the smartest thing you can do for your business. Now, granted, you have to charge enough ultimately for what you're providing so that it's justified to outlay this amount of energy in the relationships and to have this level of connection. It can't be just with anyone. So you got to be clear. Who is your niche? Whom do you want to bring in? And then invest the energy in having these conversations with them.
I personally feel that doing a 1-day plus event, because the time and energy that's going to get spent in inviting people and all of that is equal if it's 2 4 hours versus 1 day, 1.5 day. I just recently did a women's event. It was a 1.25 day kind of endeavor, and it literally got booked out in the first, I would say, 72 hours of putting that out. And that was because I already had a tribe, and I just had to like put it out there in the tribe that I'm doing this. And then people started confirming if they're going to be able to join. And some of them are already in our high level program, so they were able to get that as a bonus, half of them, and then the rest paid for it. So I was still in a really good position with doing that retreat. And that was my favorite because like it was the first time I was doing a solo. 1 day plus type of a thing, and people loved it. Like everyone gave me testimonials, and they went on the event page, and also there's the event page that we use has its own rating. So now people, like when you put another event, people can see like how they like coming to your retreats and stuff. So that was really cool to get that going. And it was really divinely orchestrated because the flow of the event and all of that, like filling it would have taken me same amount of time if it was a 4 or 6 hours. So might as well just start with 1.5 day retreat. That's what my stand is, instead of just like doing small events.
Yeah, especially if you know you're going to be doing retreats, then the 2 hour one will feel kind of surface. And then your folks are probably used to going 2 hour events, so they'll put it in the same box of other 2 hour events that they went to. Versus if you do what Dr. Monsi is saying, you do a 1 day, well, then you stand out more because most people don't have the chutzpah or the stand for people's lives to actually do a 1 day. And then you really ingratiate yourself to them. And then they're much more likely to commit to a 3 day retreat after that. So it's actually not that much more work because so much of the work is like the planning and inviting people. So if you just decide to do a 1 day, it probably would be better for your business if you are doing the retreats thing. Right? A 2 hour more is like if you just have a one-on-one consulting practice and you want to have the positioning of speaking to a group for 2 hours so that you can fill your one-on-one consulting practice by booking a free consultation, and then they buy your consulting services. It makes the most sense in those situations. Right? Consulting, healing, wealth, whatever it is that you consult in. Melanie, any questions, comments on your end?
I would love it if you'd go over some pricing to charge for some of those things. Like what are the current pricing? I know there's someone holding a horse event, and they're $1,600 for a weekend. That's even on the low side from what I've seen the prices charged. So I just love to see hear some of the possibilities to charge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we can go into that.
Yeah,
There's a
let's go
whole
over the 6 steps first,
formula
and
for
then we
that.
can go over some examples. That's usually how we do it. So we'll go over the steps, then we'll definitely address the pricing. So then after you have filled the room, then there's the actual delivering of your presentation. So the 2 hour, the 1 day, the 3 day, you're delivering that. And that's why having this skill of speaking, facilitating, leading to groups is essential. The better you are at that, then the better your business will be. So this is something to not take lightly, that this is very much a craft. I've spent over $100,000 in my own development as a communicator. And it's, to me, the most vital skill to have is the communication. And when it comes to speaking, a lot of times people think, well, I'm just going to go up there and be my authentic self. And what happens is that people will like you a lot because you're so authentic, yet the actual value doesn't get delivered because it hasn't been structured in such a way. And that person has not really put the time in to like practice and do it over again. And it's been said that it takes 50 times of giving the same presentation, let's say an hour-long presentation, 50 times delivering that hour-long presentation before mastery can set in. Most people are too undisciplined or ADHD to do the same presentation 50 times, which is why you see so few great public speakers. So very important to deliver well when you're up there. Next is that you'll enroll them into your offering, which is, we'll illustrate this through pricing next, Melanie. But you must have an offer at the end of your 2 hour event. Like I mentioned earlier, if it's a consulting thing, then you could have a 1 hour, you could have a free consultation that you do for them. If it's a 3 day event, then it should be a tribe, like we're talking about earlier, and that will color in a little further, that they get to be a part of. There must be something at the end of your event that they have the opportunity to say yes to. That's not the place to sell out on yourself and to back down. And this is time to stand even more for your business and for your people. So you must have something that you can roll them into. And then you'll deliver that offering. which is the fulfillment aspect of like client delivery. And then you can upgrade them into the next offering after that. So we always encourage people to think in terms of having at least 2 levels, that the first time meeting you, there'll be one purchase they can make. And then after that, there'll be this next level purchase. And one really reason we do that is because people can be short-sighted at times and just try to get as much money, say, in step 4 as they can for things, versus thinking, all right, maybe that first purchase will be an easier one for folks, relatively easier. And then they'll feel so blown away by the value they've gotten from that first purchase that they're far more likely then to buy the next level purchase where the quote real money can be made for your business. So here's how this could work in practice. First, we'll start with the 2-hour example. We had a client named Audrey who was a healer, and she was using Yelp to get more clients. Was just trying to get her clients who received her treatments to leave 5-star reviews and positive Yelp and Google reviews. That's how she was trying to grow her business. And what she found is that people were comparison shopping, that there was a ceiling on what she could charge. It was like maybe like $120 for a session, but then people would start to go elsewhere, tell her she was too expensive. So then she came to us and then attended our retreat. And then what we came up with was that she would host her own event. And it was at like a studio. So it's not like a really nice place, like a yoga studio or something like that. And she had 14 people in the room. She delivered the presentation that we helped her develop. And out of 14 people in the room, she had 7 people sign up for the one-on-one, and then 5 out of those, no, sorry, it was 7 people who actually bought her $5,000 program, is what it was. $5,000 that was 6 months, that included the sessions and then included a retreat in it as well. So for $5,000 times the 7 clients was a $35,000 2-hour event that she hosted. So she has since said that she divides her life into 2 parts, before and after that workshop, which was really sweet to hear. And I know that from that initial $35,000 event, from the 2 hours event that she hosted, that some of those have continued on further as clients from there too, which is the number 6, upgrade to the next offering. In our case, how we've done it is that we'll host a retreat, and then we'll have, say, 25 people there whom we're all hand selected, that we personally invited. We'll deliver the retreat, and then our year long can be, anywhere between 25 to 55,000, right? It depends on the level. And we're very, very particular with whom we bring on. So out of 25 people, we might have 7 people say yes to that. And that's about all we want to onboard at one time, because something that Monty and I feel really, really strongly about is that everyone wins when they join our tribe. And we are whatever it takes people so that everyone wins. One of the things that we find sickening in the transformational industry is how a lot of people don't get results. I think a lot of that stems from the leader, who is more frankly interested in themselves and the aspect of just what will produce the most top line revenue, and they're trying to shove as many people into their programs as they possibly can. And that's where you get into like aggressive sales tactics. That's not who Monty and I are at all. We really want to call forth the right people that are ready to play this game, and that we really can stand by and really serve as at a high level. So at 7 people, and let's say average is 30,000, then that would be 210,000 that we would get from that, plus the front end. So it will cost, say, anywhere between 3,000 to 7,500 to attend the initial retreat, which is pretty standard. So then we have 25 people, say, at that level. And if it's like an average of, say, 3,000 on the lower end, then that's 75,000 there, which would more than cover the cost of your retreat, which should only cost you, depending, like at our level, our retreats tend to cost us more like 40,000. We don't recommend that to start at all. To start should be much more like 8,000 to 10,000. And if you're enrolling people at 3,000 a piece, then you can clearly see it only takes about 3 or so before costs are covered. So then if you are having 12 people, which we like that as a that's the original Jesus number, the 12 disciples, and that worked out pretty well for him with launching his movement. So 12 is always a great number to start with at your retreat. So you can see already that you're well ahead of the game with having 12 people at 3,000 a piece. And then from there, you can upgrade them into your year-long tribe, which might be, say, on the low end, 12,000, like $1,000 per month for 12 months. And then perhaps out of those 12 people, you could have 4, let's say 1 out of 3 will say yes to that. And then 4 times 12 is 48,000 plus the, what we say, 12 times 3, 36,000 earlier. So that 48 plus 36, which is right, just under 90,000 right there. So those are some numbers of how it can work. And then that's a cycle you can repeat with your retreat 2 times per year, maybe 3 times per year. We do it 3 times per year, and it helps that there's 2 of us and that I've been doing events since 2008. So for us, that works to do it 3 times per year. We actually just added a 4th that is a business adventure that we're going to Mexico for. Yet that's not as production heavy with us. It's an all-inclusive resort that we're taking our clients on. So Melanie, I know you're the one who asked about pricing. Do you have any specific questions?
I like it. I think everyone is, selling retreats, and that seems like a really good number you're talking about. So $3,000 is a 3-day retreat, or what are you
Yeah,
selling for 3,000?
we like 3-day because if you are going to be inviting people to be part of a year-long tribe, and to be clear, a year-long might be a lot to start with. So we say 4 months might be the initial, and then to have people commit for 4 months, and then the end of those 4 months would be the next retreat. So it holds you accountable to doing another one. And then you know that you're going to be having some people already committed to it, and that those people who paid for the 4 month will help you cover the costs of the retreat. We'll probably cover it all together, actually, because of what they're paying to be part of the 4 months. And then at the end of the 4 months, it gets into the year long. We like 4 months more than 6 months, frankly. We find that it's long enough for people to experience value. There's going to be Zoom calls, and you might have even smaller gatherings in between. And then there's still this desire to join for a year. 6 months, we find that people kind of feel like, oh, I'm done. I'm ready to move on. If you think about how romantic relationships can hit a 6-month arc at times, a lot of them end at 6 months. Yeah, you have seen that before.
Also, one important thing to consider, Melanie, for pricing is how much is it going to cost you, right? So what is your base cost? Like we've had retreats that cost us 55,000 in base, and we've had retreats that cost us 15,000 in base. So making sure that when you open your door to the retreat, so let's say you have it on October 15th, you want to be in black before you open the door. That means that your retreat cost has been well over covered before you open the door. And then at least about having 20% on top of that would be a good number. So like if your base cost was 10,000, 15,000, you should at least have 18 to 20K that you've already collected in payments. And then after that is game on for delivery, and then having that other offer or a 4-month beta, because you said you're a coach as well. So that's perfect, because now you can have your whole coaching practice where you do a couple of retreats a year, and then you can really get the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Another reason we like the 3-day is that if you are having people join a tribe, then you would make the invitation to join the tribe probably end of day 2, because end of day 2, then they've gotten 2 full days of being with you. So there's enough trust and connection and value they received where you've earned the right to make an offer. And that's something that we also hold from a place of integrity and respect. for your participants. There is such a thing as making an offer too soon, just like a man can ask a woman on a date way too soon, right? Like in the first 1 minute of talking to someone would be too soon. There hasn't been enough connection and like established to warrant that invitation. So we find that for a tribe, 2 days was a good time frame where someone knows whether it's something to say yes to or not. And then some folks will sign up right away. Other folks will need that last day to really to sleep on it, and then for the FOMO to kick in. And then that's what it takes to have people come over the fence. So oftentimes it depends like what kind of buyer you are will determine what kind of what kind of buyers you'll attract. So oftentimes like how you buy is how you'll sell. So I'm someone who likes to sleep on it myself. Monty is someone who says we're in right away as soon as she hears the offer. We've been at events where even before they made the offer, she just says, we're in, whatever they're selling, we're in. Like, okay, I guess we're not having a discussion on this one. And I know to trust her, and it always worked out for us. So by doing this, you cover both temperaments and approaches.
I love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
Yeah,
then
you just depend. I mean, you just want to give room to bloom for a client. So we also have a whole method of how to integrate after the retreat, so you could still have ongoing sales from it.
yeah, that's a really good point too, Annie. Thanks for bringing that up, because if you do a 3-day event and it's an intimate group, and you do it in the way that's really like what we've been talking about, it's congruent for you. You create original experience. You really attracted people you're excited to drop in with. They're going to fall in love with each other. And it's one of the most beautiful things to get to experience as a leader. And then they're going to want to have a Zoom reunion afterwards, probably on Zoom because people will be from different places. So then having that, like, say, 5 days later, and then the folks who did not sign up will be like who might still be on the fence for whatever reason, can still get off the fence at that point. So these are some of the strategies we've used that have worked really well and that our clients now use too. Okay, so always love to check in. What do you see possible with being leader of a tribe? How will this elevate your life, your business? What do you see for yourself, Melanie?
Oh, I definitely have know that my life's been enriched by other groups that I've been in the last year. I've been really concentrating on this, and I get a great fulfillment from my guests that come here and stay on the ranch, and I give horse experience too. It's just as much for me as it is to offer a fantastic opportunity to let them come out, refresh, and relax. When I have people sit on my space and they're in the rocking chair and I say, are you okay? Because they're so quiet, for instance, usually chattery, like, oh yes, this is a healing place. And I said, oh, you feel it too? I'm like, that was my kind of my first really realization that other people definitely feel it. I know it's been healing for me, but when people see it early on and are able to articulate it themselves, it's been really a joy for me. So I want to offer more people that opportunity.
Fantastic. And in terms of your business growth, what do you see possible for you?
I definitely can see these numbers working. I like your plan. I think it's a well thought out plan that I could implement. So I'm definitely now the $20,000 that I think that I would reserve to put on my own retreat. I had 2 other partners that were going to do it with me. And we had the funnel made, everything planned. We had the date set. And then they weren't able to go through with it. But then I had someone say, no, you have all the skills necessary to do this yourself. So that's one thing is I know you 2 are life partners, which is a beautiful combination of your talents and skills. But what would you recommend doing it yourself and kind of be able to pull in the people that you want versus doing it with a splitting revenue with another person who may add event planning capabilities or event, speakers that might come in to help you. What are your thoughts about teaming with people?
Well, I'll speak to that real quick, and then, honey, we probably want to roll the video too to be able to share that we're a tribe of tribe leaders. So one thing that people really seem to love and appreciate when they come to our retreats is that you're in a rare situation where the others are also putting on their own retreats and launching their tribes. And what happens is that they'll support each other's events in ways that are far beyond, like, we don't play a level of individual here. We play a team. As team, our slogan is together we rise. So you'll be able to meet people who can fill in some of the gaps there, while at the same time they have their own tribes. So they're not trying to glob onto yours and erode some of your profit margin, because that's not sustainable either. And that's something that we have seen missing within the retreat space that we're bringing forth as value. And we're in your corner too to help you structure it and to make sure that it's one where everyone wins. Monty, you want to add anything to that? I'm going to pull up the video.
Absolutely. So, Melanie, it all depends on the talent and the commitment that they're going to bring, because sometimes people are all talk, and then when it's real time to deliver, they're not there. Or sometimes, as you said, like you experience it, right? Like you had the whole thing going and then they pulled out. So, yeah, there is like a lot of nuances to saying something about that, because we don't know until we do the mapping of where this person fits in, is how much value they bring in. I personally like that, keep one trusted partner, then everything else is just more like, let's see how we can bring them in. And there was different methods of bringing people in. Like we have some boundaries we draw, right, on how they're going to participate. Is this because everything is an energy trade-off, and sometimes it's money energy, sometimes it's time and resource energy. So yeah, a lot of things to be considered before moving forward with anyone.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Melanie, do you have a hard out at top of the hour, or do you have a few minutes beyond that you can stay on?
I have a few minutes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and roll the video now, and then we'll check in about next steps. So this is the Abundance Retreat Club, and it gives you a real sense of not just how we do retreats, but how you could be doing your own retreats. And I think you'll get a sense of why this works well. Actually, let me make sure I share the sound. Okay, cool, I already had it.
One of the things that I love about the Abundance Retreats is like you can walk in and not know a single soul. And by the time you leave, you literally have family that you probably have been traveling with throughout eons. What John and Monty have done with Abundant Tribe Leaders is they've literally are gathering all of the Abundant Tribe Leaders who are leaders in their own tribe, and they're gathering them so we can collectively learn, grow, not only for ourselves, but for our tribe. And so it's like a hub for leaders, which I find really, really cool and really necessary.
Coming here and meeting everybody, we're on the same path. We care about health and we care about wealth.
My name is John Block. I'm the co-founder of Abundant Tribe Leader.
My name is Dr. Mansi Shah, and I'm the co-founder of Abundant Tribe Leader.
Abundant Tribe Leader is for coaches and consultants who are burnt out from the one-on-one model. Really, it's about stepping into a much higher level of leadership that involves leading in-person events. This is where you make the biggest impact and have the greatest abundance possible. The first step in the ATLOS is leadership and training you to be a captivating public speaker.
The second step is achieving authority in your personal brand through nailing your brand story.
The third step is creating a hybrid delivery model of both in-person retreats and online trainings. Next is the art of community building.
The fifth and most important step is achieving all this without burnout through holistic health, biohacking, and spiritual activation.
When you put all these together, it's inevitable that you become an abundant tribe leader, that you have the biggest impact you've ever had in people's lives, that you are the most abundantly rewarded because you provide such extraordinary value. That's what we're standing for.
I feel this sense of true acceptance, compassion, support for one another. That's allowed me to level up, not just here, but also outside of here.
We have games, hiking, sound bath healing. We have medicine-based movement. We have channeling. We have Akashic records, and you name it, you get it there. Even to relive your inner child again is what you get to experience over there.
There isn't one thing that I don't love, celebrate, and honor about the Abundant Tribe community.
So my name is Chris Gandy, better known as the Tax Wizard. I'm super excited about being a part of John and Monsi's community because it's like family. You meet people and you build relationships over time, and those are the relationships that end up feeding you and sourcing your energy as you continue to build your network and also build your organization and enterprise in a community where you can actually collaborate and also expand each other's wealth.
I hold myself back. I have self-doubts. I have fears. Do I have what it takes? Just being surrounded by this tribe, I mean, literal tribe, it's given me the confidence seeing other people's growth, but once again, believing in me that I do have what it takes. I do have gifts that I really want to share, and I've held myself back, and I'm done with it.
This is for you if you're calling for a deeper truth, a deeper connection of shared values, if you're willing to do the inner work, if you have a higher mission for humanity, if you are really inspired by having unlimited health and wealth in your life, then connect with us.
We invite you to have a conversation with us to see if this is a good fit, to join us with our soul family at the Abundance Retreat. Thank you.
All right. So I know that this is top of the hour, and by this point,
So welcome, everybody, to Apprentice First Friday with the Thought Leader.
and the next step would be to schedule a time to connect with us.
Sounds
So
good.
to be clear, we're not for everyone. We like to be upfront about that. That for us, it's not just about taking anyone who's interested or wants to be a part of it. Really, it's folks who value wealth, health, and spirituality. At least one of those three, if not all of those three. And when we say wealth, we don't just mean money for the sake of money, but true wealth where you have your money work for you, creating generational wealth, a real impact for your wealth. With health, where it's a movement away from the pill popping, allopathic corporate healthcare, but really towards holistic approach, that's functional wellness. And then spirituality, where it's not so much about anyone's doctrine, but it's really about your own personal connection with source or higher power. So if that calls to you, we have a few spots available to book a one-on-one, and we can just do that right now with you, Melanie, since we're here. Do you have your calendar available, Mel?
I'm in a different room, but I can go get that and be right back. But I don't know if you want to continue.
Let's do that then. You can just grab your calendar and come right back. And I think we can probably stop the recording right now, and then we'll just go ahead and schedule that. Sound good, Monty? Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, let's see when she's available, and we are also able to open up our schedule.
Yeah, you and I can look at our calendar too, because I was going to suggest Monday, let's say noontime, I think would work well for me, and I think for you as well, right?
Yeah. Monday at noon would work.
Which time zone are you on?
We're in Pacific, so you're Central, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so our 12 would be your 2.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
That would work.
Okay.
And then we can send an email invite and a text reminder.
Cool. Do we have your phone and email, Melanie?
Whatever I put in the registration, but I can
Yeah,
put
the
that in the chat
registration.
if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be great. We can just grab it from here right now and send you the invite. Perfect. Super exciting, Melanie. So, we dive deeper into your coaching practice too when we do the call, because we want to know how we can serve you the best.
Okay.
Yeah, these one-on-one sessions are really about value first. So to dig, like Monty said, into your coaching business, what your retreats would look like as a model, what price point is the right one for you? Would you offer a 4-month or a 1 year coming out of your retreats? That's what we'll design with you. And then we can explore what working with us ongoingly would look like. It would probably be our Abundance Retreat Club. That's where people tend to start with us. And then that would include the November retreat here in San Diego. So we can share with you about that too at that time.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
Okay, we got your email in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. We'll send you a calendar link with or the Zoom link rather, or the calendar invite. Really great to meet you. Thanks for
It's
showing
great
up.
to meet you. Thank you very much. I'm going to go out and pick up hay bales.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
have a powerful weekend with the lovely horses, and yeah, we'll talk to you on Monday.
Thanks. Look up redbudfallsranch.com. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to see. My mentor owns a 25-acre in Sedona, and he has a horse breeding facility.
Oh,
So I
wonderful.
feel like his wife and you would hit it off, because she's a equine therapist. And yeah, they are big into horses, and they have 5 horses on the ranch.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to connect further with you about that too. And
Yeah, I'd love to do an
welcome.
intro.
You're always welcome for a complimentary stay here anytime.
Aw, that's so kind of you. Love it. Yeah, let's explore what we're creating together, and I'll give you that intro after the Monday call with Lisa Renee. And I feel like you guys would hit it off just on that connection with spirituality through horses. They're big on that.
That's beautiful. So nice to meet both of you.
All right, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.